Hey, I'm here to answer the question about how to fundraise well for the LBD project. Or even more so, what are some creative ideas that you can utilize as you do some fundraising? So one of the things that we do often and encourage people to do is to talk about it a lot. And it's kind of hard to throw it in people's faces in real life when you're talking to them, but it's really easy to post something on social media every single day. So if you're a social media user, do that because people are looking at your pages and they look at what you do, and then it kind of hits and they see it every, like here and there throughout the time that you're doing the project. So of course, most people don't actually see probably a good percentage of what you post, but at the same time, if you do it often enough, then they might see it like 7 times. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. I did say I was going to donate to that like at the very beginning of the month. So maybe I should do that about now. So that's another way. That's one of the ways. The most probably effective way to fundraise for the LBD project is by throwing out pictures of yourself in your black item, or bringing attention to it, or downloading our 31 days of human trafficking facts that you can copy and paste, which we put together to hopefully make it easy for you to be able to do that. And you can share those as well. So besides something where you're putting in people's face all the time, we also think that doing events or that type of thing works pretty well too. I've been doing women's clothing exchanges, and some other people have adopted that also because it's an easy way to get people together to do something that they already want to do. And then we just ask them to bring $5 because you're just maximizing something that's already going on. Or if you're doing like, hey, let's do a bowling night, or hey, let's do a fundraiser thingy where we all come and eat together because we're eating there anyways. But the manager of this restaurant said that they'd, pull out 5% of it and give it away to the human trafficking organization you're raising money for. So it's just kind of an idea is to maximize something that you're already doing with friends and be like, hey, do you mind if I talk about human trafficking for a little while? Or invite people over for dinner and be like, hey, you guys would you guys like to come over for dinner? And we're going to watch this, documentary, and maybe you guys can pitch in $5 or $10 or whatever. So just kind of doing that type of thing is a lot easier to pull together because, you're at the beginning of March right now, but then by the end of March, that's 4 weeks from now, and you probably have time to maybe pull something like that together in 4 weeks. On the other hand, yeah, you could go ahead and do a huge gala where everybody wears black and, it's big shindig, but at the same time that requires a lot more effort, and most people aren't interested in pulling something off like that in 31 days. So, but go ahead and do that also. So events, that's another option for fundraising. I've also mentioned, and I mentioned in our emails to you, email always works really, really well. So do keep that in mind. Just one at the beginning, one at the end is usually enough. So that's another idea for fundraising to help you fundraise well. People who sell products often can be like, hey, I'm going to take 10% of my profits this month and use it to give away to the LBD project. So then they can kind of talk about human trafficking here and there amongst the people that they're already selling to, like if they own a clothing brand or not own a clothing brand, but sell a clothing brand, and they can take some of that money and give it away. Another thing that we have seen is kind of almost like a collective bazaar where people who all have different little home businesses, they all come together and they sell them in the same place at the same time, in somebody's house. You put out chocolate dipped strawberries and some wine or coffee, and everybody hangs out together and they talk and they buy stuff. There's quite a few organizations that actually will just ship you a bunch of products that are actually made by trafficking survivors, and then you could sell those there too. It makes people feel like they're more in touch with the actual issue. Throw a documentary on in the background, or just leave out some stuff, write it on a whiteboard about human trafficking. Then you're not bothering people if that makes you feel uncomfortable. So that's another way that people have raised money for the LBD project. Lastly, an idea we'll throw out is just to do something kind of more extreme or unique, especially when you tie it to a fundraising goal. So if you give yourself a fundraising goal and you tell everybody, hey, I'm going to try to raise, $400 or $1,000 or whatever it might be, then you can say, if I meet this goal, I'm going to do X. So one person, for an example, they had fundraised and they met their goal, and they had told people the whole time, well, if you help me meet my goal, I'll go down this water slide in my little black dress that I've been wearing all month, and and it'll be funny, and we'll take a video of it. And they did, and it was really effective. So they got soaked in their little black dress. Other people might want to like shave their head, or I don't know, put something all over them. Kind of tempted to like burn the black item at the end of the month. Like, I've heard that quite a bit, but nobody's actually done it, which kind of surprises me. But they're like, dude, if I wear this 31 days, we could burn it at the end of the month if we raise this much money. I kind of like my black items at the end of the month, honestly, because I feel like they empower me. Like, I did this, I wore this 31 days. And then I don't want to separate from it, even though it's falling apart. So anyways, the point being is that if you choose a fundraising goal and then you tell people about it and you say you're going to do something if you reach the fundraising goal, then it kind of gives people more of a desire to watch you do whatever it is. So that might work for some people, especially if they're more outgoing. It might not work for some people, but that's just another idea to throw out there. Regardless, the fact that you're actually doing this project and you're considering how you can fundraise, I really, really appreciate that, because some people will never even consider committing 31 days of their life to learn about human trafficking and to make it known that they're doing something about human trafficking. So thank you for that, because I know that you believe that people deserve a chance to be free and nobody should be enslaved, just like I do, and our team does. And we're really thankful for that, because that core belief that we have is really what prompts us as we fundraise. And just be intentional, like it might be, you might not have some magical idea, and that's really okay. And you might not raise very much money, and that's okay too. On the other hand, you might raise a ton of money. Who really knows? But the point is that your stance is really what matters, and we're really grateful that you're